The Canon 1D series is built for pros who can't afford to miss a shot, and has been the go-to DSLR for photographers covering sports, world news, and wildlife for years. The EOS-1D X Mark III is the latest edition, and has a load of new options worth talking about, including a fantastic 20MP full-frame sensor, 5.5K RAW video capture, and built-in Wi-Fi to name a few. But its release comes after Canon has shifted its focus to development of mirrorless cameras and lenses, something you should take into consideration if your needs for new 1D aren't pressing. If you picked up a 1D before, you'll find the Mark III familiar. Canon hasn't made a lot of changes. Welcome news to anyone who has years of experience behind a 1D viewfinder. It's bulky, even for an SLR, with an integrated vertical shooting grip and controls, leaving space for a big battery to keep you going through an all-day event. By the numbers, it measures 6.6 by 6.2 by 3.3 inches without a lens attached, and weighs a hefty 3.2 pounds. It's certain to be paired with telephoto glass, at least on occasion, and balances well with a big lens attached. It's sold as a body only, and is compatible with lenses that use the Canon EF mount. The system has been around since the 80s and includes just about any type of lens you can imagine, ranging from ultra-wide to extreme telephoto. It's also at a dead end. As far as future development goes, Canon is concentrating on new lenses designs for its mirrorless RF system, and while it's still supporting the EF mount, don't expect any updates to lenses going forward. And while it's possible to move your EF lenses to a mirrorless camera via an adapter, the opposite is not true. The body itself is dense, it's wrapped in a leatherette, but you can feel the strength of the magnesium alloy chassis when holding the 1D tightly in your hands. It has two grips and sets of shooting controls, so you can readily find buttons and dials by touch when shooting in landscape and portrait orientation alike. And there are plenty of controls. The 1DX has a number of buttons for direct access to features and settings. It's quick to cycle through various autofocus modes, change image quality settings, add voice memos to images, and much more. Most buttons are in the exact same places with the Mark II version, and several can be reconfigured via the menu as desired. The AF on buttons are updated, and it's a notable one, adding some functionality for photographers who don't typically use it. When enabled, it also acts as a touchback controller to move the active focus point. Angling your finger moves them about quickly, and you can set the sensitivity to your liking. Pressing the button engages autofocus. You'll also still get a pair of dedicated focus control sticks, just like on the Mark II. If you don't find the new feature useful, many of the buttons are backlit, a plus for work in a darkened studio. And while there's no embodied flash, you can put a radio transmitter in the hot shoe to control off-camera lighting, or add a speed light. You'll spend most of the time peering through the optical viewfinder when making images. It's as big as you'll get in an SLR, 0.76, and has all the benefits that come with optical finders. On the plus side, you get a clear view of the world, without light, and without any sort of digital filtration. But there are drawbacks. The big mirror makes quite a bit of noise, especially when the camera fires at burst speeds. Those rat-a-tat sounds you hear at press conferences are 1DX and Nikon D6 cameras capturing photos at a brisk pace. Viewfinder blackout, the period where you don't see an image in the finder while a photo is captured, is reduced in this iteration of the camera, but is still there. You also lose out on a true preview of your finished photo, complete with any color adjustments you set in camera, and the option to punch in and magnify to confirm perfect focus. While there are certainly proponents of an optical viewfinder, it appears they've had their day. Some rivals, including Fujifilm, Panasonic, and Sony, build EVF cameras exclusively. Of course, the 1DX also has a rear LCD. It's a 3.2-inch panel with support for touch input in, at 2.1 million dots, is quite sharp. It's used full-time for video recording, and is available for photos with a push of the start or stop button. You just can't bring it up to your eye. It's a fixed design. The only current generation camera of this level to include an articulating display is the Sony Roman II. While it doesn't tilt up or down, it does double as an additional control surface. All menus are navigable by touch, including the Q menu, an on-screen display available for both OVF and live view photography, as well as for video.